Alright, this will be junior high math test review for chapter 4. This test is going to cover sections 4.4 through 4.7. 4.4 deals with our LCM, or our least common multiple. Now, when we have two problems, or I guess we would say two numbers that we're looking for the least common multiple, I'll give you an example. If you have 12, let's go with 12a squared and 18ab. Okay, first off, check and make sure if the smaller number will go into the larger number, then the larger number is your LCM, but in this situation it won't. I always work with the letters first, the variables. They're the easiest. You just choose the variable with the higher exponent. So for instance, a squared and a, I'm going to choose a squared. So I'm done with my a's, and I have to bring my b over. You have to have it on the LCM. Now, I'm going to do prime factorization on 12 and 18. 12 would prime factor 4 and 3, 2 and 2, and then I bring down that 3. 18 would be 9 and 2, 3 and 3 and 2. Now, once I get to that step, I'm going to write it in exponential form. So I'm going to say 2 squared times 3, that's the prime factorization of 12. And then I'm going to say 3 squared times 2, that's the prime factorization of 18. Now I'm going to go through and choose the higher exponent. So 2 squared is larger than 2, 3 squared is larger than 3. So now I'm going to say 2 squared times 3 squared, 4 times 9, which is 36. So the least common multiple of 12a squared 18ab would be 36a squared b. And that's pretty much it on least common multiple. You just have to remember to choose the higher exponents and to multiply them all at the end once you do that to come up with that. Alright, 4.5 is probably one of the easiest sections on there. 4.5 deals with comparing fractions. Now, in order to compare fractions, not fractions, in order to compare fractions, you can't compare them unless they have the same denominator or common denominator. So if we were comparing something like, let's go with 11 over 12 and 41 over 48. So I'm comparing them to see if they're greater than, less than, or equal to. Well, obviously 12 and 48 I can't compare. They're not the same denominator, but I'm going to find a common denominator. The common denominator between 12 and 48 would be 48. So I must multiply this times 4. And whatever I do to the denominator on one side, I must do to the numerator. So I get 44 over 48. And then I bring down my 41 over 48. Now right here, I don't worry about the denominators. I'm kind of done with them. I'm just looking, is 44 larger than 41? It is. So 44 over 48, or basically you can even go back and say 11 twelfths is greater than 41 48ths. Okay, so that's pretty easy. The last little bit, 4.6 through 4.7, the 4 rules of exponents we need to know. The first two are pretty easy. When you have same bases, add exponents. Well, excuse me, same bases, let me do it this way. Same bases multiplying, move that over. You add exponents. If we have same bases, which is real important because you have to have the same base to do it. Same bases and we're dividing, you subtract exponents. The other is we want no negative exponents, and we move them. If we have negative exponent on top of a fraction, we move it to the bottom. If we have a negative exponent on the bottom, we move it to the top. And then lastly, anything to 0 power is 1. Okay? Anything to 0 power is 1. So, an example that we want to look at, I'll write a couple examples really quick. This probably would be better, I guess, than myself writing them. It's probably a little bit more, it's probably clearer to understand. But if we have problems like, for instance, here, where we have m to the 8 times m to the 3rd, the m's have the same base, so we just add 8 plus 3 and get m to the 11th. Here we have 6 squared times 6 to the 6th, which would be 6 to the 8th. Now, if this problem says write your answer as a power on the test, I want you to simplify that. In order to simplify that, most calculators, I know mine looks a little bit different, it has a special button on it, and let's see if I can cut that light so that it doesn't cast so much glare. But the special button is called the caret button. It's a little arrow that points up right here. It kind of looks like a rooftop. If I wanted to know, for instance, 6 to the 8th, then I would just push in my 6 so that it would come up like that. My caret button, it actually raises it to an exponent 8, and then I hit enter, and I get let's say I get 1,679,616. So, really, really large number. But let the calculator do the work for you. Use the caret button, it helps you out tremendously. It's on most of your calculators, even the basic calculators. This one, n to the 16th divided by n to the 10th. I'm dividing, so I subtract. 6 minus 10 is 6. Since n to the 16th is larger and it's in the numerator, I leave my answer in the numerator. Whereas if 16 had been in the denominator, so if I had something that looked like n to the 10th over n to the 16th, now the difference in 10 and 16 is 6, and it goes in the denominator so that it looks like 1 over n to the 6th. It just depends on where your exponent is. And then anything x to the 0 power is equal to 1. That's just a rule to remember any number or any variable or anything. Lastly, I'll work an example problem of this one. Could be pretty difficult. If I have negative 4x to the negative 9th over negative 4x to the negative 9th over x to the 3rd. Okay, if I have a problem like that, and this should wrap it up for us. Then what I would do, get rid of my negative exponents. Now 4 is negative. The base of it's negative, but its exponent's an understood 1, so I don't have to move it. I just leave it as negative 4 on top. Move x to the 9th down, so I have x cubed. I keep that on the bottom because it's positive. It doesn't need to go anywhere. And then I move my x negative 9 to the bottom, which makes it x to the positive 9. Takes away the negative exponent. Now I just negative 4 over, and since these bases are the same and I'm multiplying, I just simply add the exponents and get x to the 12th. So negative 4 over x to the 12th is the answer. So make sure that you study the problems we've done in homework, we've gone over in class. I think you're well prepared for this. Work any of these standardized tests or chapter test problems on page 214, 215. And just know your test is only going to cover section 4.4 through 4.7, and that should do it. Good luck. And that's it.